Without further ado, let's jump into our wake-up conversations this morning. And let's start off with a news that's not rather sweet, but one that is bitter, and it's caused a lot of mixed reactions from Nigerians. Earlier on, we did talk about how the war in Iran, United States and Israel may likely affect the price of premium motor spirit, otherwise known as petrol, and not forgetting to diesel, and how it will trickle down to everyday living of every single Nigerian. And as we speak, like an unwelcomed visitor returning too soon, the fuel price hike has resurfaced. There's no queue, but not just yet, as the Dangote Petroleum Refinery again increased its ex-depot prices for petroleum products. The refinery has raised the gantry price of premium motor spirit PMS to 1,175. Take note, it was 995 naira just 2 days ago, and now it's 1,175 per litre from 995. While Automotive Gas Oil, also known as diesel, now sells at 1,620 naira per litre. In some places, 1,700, like the one I saw this morning, up from 1,430. Industry sources say the revised pricing template has been communicated to marketers, marking the fourth price review since March 2 and reflecting mounting pressure in Nigeria's downstream petroleum market. Now, the adjustment comes amid a surge in global oil prices, with Brent crude trading above $102 per barrel and West Texas Intermediate nearing $101. Market analysts, or better still analysts, say the move by the refinery is likely to influence depot and retail fuel prices across the country, and marketers recalibrate their supply costs. But what you can see there on the screen shows that you will no longer get petrol for a lesser price like you thought you will. But Benga, this is
I mean, this is not the time to be visiting friends
or
making or going sightseeing or unnecessary waka waka. It's going to be an expensive venture.
Very expensive, honestly.
It's,
I'm even thinking of how you and I
crazy.
can be
But
carpooling.
I look forward to speaking to the experts. So people are wondering, Nigeria is blessed with an abundance of crude oil underneath waters, and of course in the Delta region, that we're not expecting ships to come from the Straits of Hormuz or the Middle East. So why are we paying so much for something that is underneath the earth in Nigeria? It's not like we're going. So how does it work? I mean, I'm not informed enough to give an opinion, but I would really want the experts to tell us why we should be paying this much money for something we have. I understand the sector has been deregulated, but that reason enough is it doesn't all go well for me.
It doesn't all go well. Yeah, so the sad thing is, I did a little bit of research regarding this, and unfortunately what we see is there's a huge link, right, between the US, Israel, Iran war and the oil price. So there's an itinerary of things. First, US strikes Iran, then the Middle East supply is threatened. Middle East, the Strait of Hormuz, and why that Strait of Hormuz is a huge part of the conversation is because 20% of global oil passes through the Strait of Hormuz. And then it then affects global crude price. And then you're wondering, why is global crude price rising? And then how's that affecting us? Well, it's because, yes, there's a Dangote refinery, but unfortunately, we're not able to generate enough. We still export crude and then import fuel. And with the price of Brent crude going up, on the face of it, it's more money for the government because we make more money from exporting, right? But we're importing refined fuel. We're still not,
So Dangote's production is not enough to take care of domestic needs.
Well, so whilst he does his, for now, we still have to import.
But
so
to
regardless,
make up for the...
yes, and even when the government sells to Dangote, from what the CEO had said, they still sell based on international standards. They still use the global benchmark to be able. So they're paying in dollars. They're putting a lot of. I mean, okay, that's a statement there, I believe.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the statement.
Okay, so Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals reassures Nigerians of its unwavering commitment to serving as a stabilizing force, and recent shocks in the international Okay, I'm unable to read that. International oil market is a bit far. The conflict in the Middle East has led to the shutdown of some refineries and cut in refinery production across the world. This is leading to a global scarcity of petroleum products. China has banned export of gasoline and diesel. The Dangote Refinery will ensure that Nigeria is insulated from these supply shocks by prioritizing supply to the domestic market. This is one of the many benefits of domestic refining. The conflict has driven crude oil and freight prices it's sharply higher, with benchmark Brent prices rising by about 26% within a short period to above $84.0 per barrel. In response, the refinery implemented a measured adjustment of 100 naira per litre in its ex-depot price of premium motor spirit, representing an increase of about 12%. The refinery has absorbed 20% of the cost escalation for now to cushion the domestic market. All this sounds like plenty English, but we'll have the experts join us to speak about how this affects us and how this impacts us. But the summary of it will be: Nigeria exports crude, foreign refineries process it, Nigeria buys back finished fuel at international prices, and then it's reflected at the pump price. So while the government is gaining, because if you look at
they really gaining?
Yeah, they're gaining. They're gaining. Yes, they're gaining. So it's a +2 -2 or a +1 -1, because yes, they're gaining because the budget was drawn based on the budget. I think the benchmark of $64 right to a barrel, but now it's almost double. It's surged to over 102. So when we export, Nigeria government is gaining. But on the flip side, the citizens are the ones that will bear the cost, because the pump price will then increase because we're paying more to import fuel. And then when the pump price increases, that then affects everything. It's a ripple effect. Cost of feeding, cost of everything. And the scary part about all of this is there's no guarantee how long this will last. We just came off the back of the US-Ukraine excuse.
Yeah, and it was shocking.
And it was shocking to the world.
It's still farther off from us, all the way in Eastern Europe. And then look at what's happening almost in our backyard in the Middle East.
And we don't know how long this will last. That's the scary part. We don't know how long this will last. So there have been speculations, but I'm sure we'll talk about that much later.
So basically what I know is Dangote needs 13 crude oil cargoes to provide and to produce enough petrol that would take care of the domestic market. He needs 13 crude oil cargoes. What Dangote gets from the NNPCL is 5.
Wow, it's not enough.
He gets 5 crude oil cargoes. That's what Dangote gets. And because he gets 5 crude oil cargoes, Dangote needs to source for the other crude oil cargo from outside of the country. So he gets the rest from the United States and other countries. So he still imports, and goes ahead to
and he will be buying at international.
Exactly.
So NNPCL gives him only 5. That was the agreement. And coupled with what the MD had said, they also have to pay these in dollars and everything. That's 1. 2, because he does that, Dangote Refinery is not a Nigerian-owned refinery. Let's get that right, because Dangote has also put up the refinery for sale. NNPC only has a share in the Dangote Refinery. What that simply means is, because the Nigerian government has failed to fix its own refineries, the local refineries, we're only dependent on a Dangote refinery, which is not a Nigerian-owned. It's not solely owned by Nigeria. Because Dangote, of course, has a little percentage in terms of that. So whether you look at Dangote Refinery as, yes, it's a Nigerian, is Africa's richest man.
Imagine if there was no Dangote.
Imagine.
We're even getting somewhere. That's where we were thinking of. So these issues are there. Now, what we're trying to do is, if we want to look at it from the government aspect, which is what I want us to look at it from my angle, that's what I want to look at it from. If that's, I've raised 2 points. One, Dangote only gets 5 crude oil cargoes. He gets the others from outside. So he's spending money. He's a businessman. He needs to make his money back. 2, NNPCL has a share in the Dangote refinery. However, they still do not supply him all the 13 crude oil cargoes. He needs to get them. And he pays the NNPCL for the ones he gets in the global market rates. It's not like it's Naira.
Yeah, it's not, not doing him any favors.
3, just to mention this point as well. In as much as Nigerians are complaining that, why is the price not coming down and all that, our own refineries are moribund. They are not working. If they were working, then we can be certain that the government will start making a whole lot in terms of income. Then number 4, because our refineries are not working, therefore, the monies we're expecting that the government will make will not be much. Why? The government has borrowed money and has used our crude to pay up front.
At a lower rate.
At a lower rate, not at the global rate now that is going for. So whether you like it or not, for me, I know many would say it's a win or loss. For me, it's a loss.
It's a loss.
Because the government failed to invest in its own refineries. Had it been the government had invested in its own refineries, we wouldn't have.
And if we're not borrowing at an alarming rate,
yes. Remember President Buhari did that as well. This current administration has borrowed more. So it's like we're paying for crude. You're paying ahead of time and then you are getting money. So, but then again, like we said, these are just the aspects
but there are
that
serious
we're looking
implications
at.
for everyday people. And that's my major concern. Because salaries are not going to increase.
Of course
Business
not.
owners are not so altruistic.
And the value of everybody's salary is then reduced. So what you typically would have done with the 500,000 naira, the weight of that, your purchasing power is reducing, whereas your earning power is not increasing. What could we have done to deal with this or to combat this? Like Joe had highlighted some of the causes as well, is to improve our domestic refining capacity. Unfortunately, that's not something that can be done in a week or 2 weeks. They've been on this matter for the longest time.
Generators, diesel.
Yes.
So, energy costs.
So that's the saddest part about all of this. We can't improve our refining capacity. And when we talk about even our OPEC quota, how well have we done? We fluctuated with how much we're exporting every month. So if we're able to increase our production output and we're not being attacked by vandals and all the other reasons and the theft that happens, we ensure that our output is increased, that would help stabilize things. Unfortunately, this is also purchased in FX, and that puts a lot of strain on the Naira. So in every way, really, it's going to affect our Naira. I'm not going to be surprised. I know that I think 2 weeks back, we're talking about the projection of Naira getting as low as 1,000 Naira to $1. And there was excitement about that. The presidency, I believe, had mentioned that. And we're all excitedly counting down to that. But with the latest developments, it does not seem like that 1,000 Naira to $1 is anywhere in sight. But then again, the question is, how does this affect the everyday Nigerian who's going to be taking a bus to from their house to their office, who maybe typically spent 1,000 naira on transport fare, but now be spending 3,000 naira, 4,000 naira. The vulcanizer, exactly, the barber who uses generator, even the person pumping tires. Back in the day, we used to pump our tires for like 50 naira. There's no way you can pump your tire for 50 naira now. 500. Pumping tire is 500 naira to pump tire. And in your mind, you're thinking, it's not just to put gas, but they're using petrol to run that device. They're queuing. Fuel scarcity has already started. Unfortunately, we're going to have artificial fuel scarcity.
And it's caused by the filling stations.
Shutting down.
Not selling. They're not opening because
they're
waiting for
because as much as I do not approve
meanwhile,
of that,
the stock they have, they bought it at a cheaper.
Yes, Benga. As much as I do not approve of their actions, but they're not in business for charity. They're not there for charity.
They should reflect
they're able to see. Dangote did stop selling for a while as well to be able to adjust.
He has even stopped supplying enough now.
Their pricing. So for some of them, it's like, okay, let's see how much it's costing, because regardless of what the cost is or whether they bought it at a cheaper rate, when they are trying to buy, they need to be able to match the purchasing power of what it will be by then. Let's see what Nigerians are saying. We're streaming on YouTube. You can go on YouTube to drop your comments. We'll take your comments and then we'll head to X. Let's take a few comments from YouTube. DJ says, for God's sake, how can you justify Nigerians paying more when we're making more money? The government is gaining and the people are losing. Is it the government that has the money or the people? Tinubu has failed to make the refineries work for over 2 years. If Tinubu had increased the crude oil production output and made the refineries to work, we would have been rejoicing by now. They're still looking at comments. Odinaka Sacramento says, Nigeria does not supply enough crude oil to Dangote Refinery as promised. The agreement was 15 vessels of crude oil per month, but delivers between 3 to 5 vessels. So he imports from the USA and others. Mokuye Chukwemeka, in response to DJ, says, you people expect a lot from Tinubu. Let's head now to X and see what the comments are saying. Good morning to our virtual audience on YouTube. Keep the comments coming. And now on X, Mazi Okwama says, local production ended up being a local premium subscription we didn't sign up for. At 1,175 naira per litre, Dangote is basically telling us that his refinery is running on tears and expensive vibes. We thought the price would crash, but the only thing crashing is our bank balance. And our next tweet, just imagine Dangote was not refining. Exactly. Sad that the Middle East tensions have pushed oil above $84 per barrel, forcing fuel prices in Nigeria up by about 100 naira per litre. Bad enough that our weak local supply chains keep us vulnerable, even from wars far away. Imagine if Nigeria had to rely on imports at this time. We would have been so sorry for ourselves. But, well, we are still relying on imports, just not at the magnitude that we typically would rely on. 1,175 naira from Dangote, 1,250 naira at the pump, diesel at 1,620 naira, and salaries still the same. Nobody is saving anybody here. The refinery was supposed to be the solution. Nigerians are still the ones paying. When does it end? Sadiq asks. And you may be right in part, but your insincerity is telling us that you procure your crude every 2 months is a turnoff. Or your insincerity in telling us that you procure your crude every 2 months is a turnoff. So the price hikes for now don't fly. NNPC and Nigerian presidents should confirm the quantity of PMS Nigerians need per day and sell at an affordable rate to us. Dangote Refinery has in the last 2 weeks increased prices immediately. There has been an increase in the price of crude oil in the global market. I hope when crude prices eventually start to fall, Dangote Refinery will also reduce prices with the same speed, Oye asks. And that's all that we have. Yeah. Still on YouTube, Chuka Ochiyama says, what does the average citizen enjoy from Nigeria?
What is the benefit?
What is the benefit?
Air is free.
The thing is, one thing we should also note is that whether we like it or not, there's still no power. Electricity is poor. People will still have to go and buy fuel to fuel their generators so they could sleep because there's no... So the problem is compounded. That's not just all. You also have the issue of the NNPC 210 trillion naira that has been missing, and Mr. Milikiari has failed to show up before the committee to explain where that money went to. And we heard there's an extra 5 billion that's also been missing just to change the name, to add L to NNPC. Now, if you calculate all that money, 210 trillion naira, which is about $151 billion, that money, like through the calculation, is enough to have fixed the 4 refineries or even build new refineries. Dangote used 20 trillion naira to set up this refinery. And how much is missing? 210 trillion naira. Do the math. That's enough to have gotten new refineries.
New Dangote refineries.
You know, new gantry, just get everything done and said. But you see, because 210 trillion naira is missing, nobody's saying anything. Now, who's going to suffer for it? Nigerians. But I like the way, just my final statement, I like what Labour ADC a member said, Adio. He put out a tweet yesterday, and I thought about it. He said, this is a time for someone from the presidency or the government to speak to Nigerians.
Nobody's saying
Nobody has
addressed
anybody.
On
NNPC
autopilot.
has said nothing.
The only person that's even addressed us is the CEO of Dangote.
Yeah. I mean, so what? I mean, can you imagine? He's the one who addressed us.
We have a minister.
We have a minister of petroleum. The minister of petroleum, and I'm not talking of junior minister. I'm talking of the minister of petroleum, is the person of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
No, Mr. President will not talk to us.
He should address us.
Senator Heineken.
Lopobori.
He was invited to the committee in the House, and he got there. They said, okay, time to explain what you did with the money. He said they are not ready, that they need to adjourn. So everybody was like, wait, but we gave you notice that you have to come and defend and prove to us what happened to the 210 trillion naira. He said they're not ready, that they need some more time.
I think government agencies, you dare not do all these sorts of things in private sector. Your boss tells you to bring a report. You tell them they're not ready.
Do you understand? I mean, just to wrap things up from my end, pretty much it's simply like saying, whatever we're going through now is also as a result of the fact that the federal government needs to find a way to cushion this entire
They need to, because they can't leave us to the mercy of global prices.
The president of Philippines the president of Philippines, what's that his name again? Ferdinand Marcos
Jr.
has said going forward, people will go to work only 4 days in a week. He has removed Fridays. Nobody should work on Fridays. Do Monday to Thursday, go home. Is the
That's
Nigerian
a responsive government.
So now,
thinking?
as citizens as well, just to piggyback on what you said, beyond the government, we as citizens must also find a way to look out for each other, because what we realize is if a government will not take care of its citizens, citizens should try to look out for each other. Employers of labor, if your staff don't have to come to work every day, by all means, please don't have them come to work every day. We focus on presence over productivity in Nigeria. Now is the time to review that. Anything to make the quality of life of your staff better, manageable, because times are really hard. We've fallen on incredibly hard times. So the least we can do is ensure that they don't come to work as often. So long as their deliverables can be met from their homes, by all means, please let them work from home. So the little ways in which we can ensure that we do not try to make life harder, because what we find is oftentimes Nigerians will capitalize on slight changes. Everybody's increasing their price at sporadic rates, and even when the prices start dropping, we don't see that same speed reflected in the stores, in the the supermarkets. Like Joe would say, Nigerians are Nigeria's problem.
Yes, sir.
But
I mean, it's really, really sad. And I mean, maybe tomorrow I'll conduct this, my work via WhatsApp.
WhatsApp video call.
I want to go and fry egg now.
we should be presenting the show from our houses.
Yes, remote work.
I mean, the pandemic.
But
Yeah,
my final thoughts on this is the elephant in the room, the big elephant, the giant elephant in the room. Why this started in the first place. Very avoidable.
Yeah.
Benjamin Netanyahu says Iran there's been an imminent threat for them to declare, to own bombs. 2 weeks ago, for the last 40 years, there's been 7 American presidents that Benjamin Netanyahu has been trying to influence to bomb Iran. Donald Trump was the only one weak enough to take the bait, and look at what he's turned the entire world to. No one is happy. Look at the GCC countries. And unfortunately, we have to pay for it. So the Americans should be more responsible in their actions. You can't just go regime change, killing people, and acting like the world police. We're feeling the effects here.
President Trump put out a statement to Benga yesterday.
Temporary pain.
He said he's giving
long-term gain.
He's giving Iran time that if they block
the Strait of
Hormuz, they're going to see what they've never seen before.
Okay, let him.
So he just made that statement like a few hours ago.
I mean, America has never had a president like him before. He made up, he's very unpresidential and unhinged. How do you say that the Iranians got a Tomahawk missile from somewhere and then bombed their own school, killed 160 plus girls? And a reporter asked him yesterday, that President Trump, do you have any evidence or facts today? He said, I made it up. I made it up.
Are you serious?
I mean, that's not presidential.
Anyway.
We're entering uncharted territories. Yeah. And it's not a video game. There are real life implications to what they're doing. And people are dying every day. 165?
I remember the Chibok girls and how the world screamed. 165, the world still in silence. Is it because it's the United States of America? And then the other one was a country in Nigeria, in Africa called Nigeria. Well, quite
the one thing we must, to wrap things up here is to say that, like we have said, it's really dark times. We're falling into, and we are not immune from it, as you can see. For those who are not yet aware, by the time you head out, you will see the cost of fuel. My tank yesterday was just a little below empty. As soon as I heard the numbers had increased, I asked my driver to fill it up. Guess how much it cost me?
100.
Fill it up. No, 45,000 for something that better. You know how when it moves just below F, just below F.
Eh?
For me to fill it back.
Just below F to F.
Yes.
45,000.
45,000.
That's massive.
45,200.
I knew that you are low.
My dear.
I mean, I called a friend.
May the Lord be with you.
Friend said yesterday he spent 120.
Anyway,
and then people.
This is dramatic reality.
Cars and generator.
Yes.
Cars and generator.
Because electricity is bad, and they've sent a message. EKEDC, I believe, has sent a message that there will be a downtime for 3 days, and the heat is. Let's not even talk about the heat.
There's always a downtime.
I need to post that video of Speed Darlington using hand fan to fan himself, because all of us are suffering.
Why is EKEDC?
All of us are suffering.
Sending that message. They always have downtime now.
And nobody.
Water is wet.
Wow. Okay, let's move to our next story.
While people, Nigerians are crying.
Exactly. This one is political drama that is happening.
Which is the biggest.
In a dramatic political shift, the governor of Zamfara state, Dauda Lawal, has dumped the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and moved to the All Progressives Congress, APC. The announcement followed a stakeholders meeting at the government house in Gusau, where the Deputy Governor, Mani Mumuni, and the Secretary to the State Government, Abubakar Nakwada, confirmed the development, saying the decision came after extensive consultation with political leaders and supporters across the state. According to them, the governor cited the prolonged internal crisis and leadership disagreements within the PDP as key reasons for his defection, stressing the need to align with a political platform that offers greater stability and stronger collaboration with the federal government. The development is particularly notable as Lawal had earlier alleged that governors who joined the APC were being offered about 500 million naira in local government funds, insisting at the time that he had yet to receive any such support. So the question is, did he or did he not receive that money as well, now that he has joined the APC's alleged 500 million naira in funds? But let's take a look at the video. We'll come back to share our thoughts. But you can head on to YouTube where we're streaming live. We'll take comments on YouTube before we head to X. What are your thoughts about the Zamfara governor and the deputy governor announcing their defection from PDP to APC? Let's take a look at this video.
Okay, that's the governor and his deputy.
And I must commend them, honestly, for being this patient and waiting this long. Looking at how long the PDP crisis...
Did you see the APC put out? Did you see their tweet?
As played out. No.
APC put out a tweet. I don't know if we have that tweet. They put out a tweet and said 31/36. Okay. So 31 governors in the bag. How many more to go? You have 5 more.
So 5 more to go. Before it was 30 governors.
1 PDP, 2 PDP, I think 1 APGA, 1. So they're still waiting on Labour Party. And that's it. They said 31/36. My worry is this same governor, said that he has noticed and he knows where the bandits are during the attack, you know, in Zamfara. He said, remember when he said he has them on his phone, he can see them when they are moving, he knows where they are going to, and so on and so forth. But the question now is, while he was saying that, he said that he can't really do anything
without the help of the federal government.
Help at the federal government. I'm trying to understand this. Are you saying that until you move to the APC, that's when you get the support of the federal government to help fight banditry in your state? That's question one that journalists would love to ask. Secondly, Olive, you also mentioned that he heard that people are getting paid once you move to the APC.
So that we don't misquote him. What he said was that, I know of, this was after the removal of subsidy.
Okay.
Where he said, I know of states that have received from over 500 billion naira from the federal government as palliative, but I have never received anything. And then he went on to suggest that the reason was political. The reason that a number of them were given and he wasn't given was because he's a member of the People's Democratic Party. Now, the one argument that we often hear, the argument we often hear put forward by a number of these governors when they're moving is that they need to align themselves with the center.
With the center.
So what does aligning yourself with the center mean, and what is the implication of that? I think the bigger picture and the bigger concern for Nigerians here is if we have 31 governors out of 36 governors aligned to one political party, not necessarily because they believe so much in the political party, contrary to what they may claim, but because there's some politicking happening behind the scenes that we're not a part of. It tells us that we're actually in trouble, and the trouble is that there isn't any opposition voice. There is a reason why there are principles like principles of checks and balances, so that different arms of government can check the other arms of government, separation of powers. And the role of opposition is very important in ensuring that we have a stable democracy. If everybody around you is a yes man, yes man, yes man, then nobody's around you to tell the truth. There's no one to hold them to account because everybody is going to be wearing infinity cap and excited about the policies that the government is rolling out. And who suffers it? Nigerian citizens.
So Nigerians should get ready. And I just want to also mention, when they say align with the center, I want to ask a question. There have been killings in the past few days in Borno State.
Zamfara State, his head HQ of banditry.
I hope that he will come and give us an update. Just sorry to interrupt, because it's the same governor some time back, I think some months back, that told us that looking at his phone, he knows where these bandits are, he knows when they are moving.
That's what Joe meant.
He knows where they are hiding. So I'm hoping that maybe
now that they've
aligned with the center now,
we get
send the military down. But Borno State is an example I want to use. Borno State has been facing it tough. We heard lieutenant generals and so on have been killed. We've seen
lieutenants
rather. We've seen RIPs and so on online. People are saying what's going on. We've heard that they've attacked, security posts and so on. However, I want to ask a question. The Borno State governor is a member of the APC. He has, what's that word? He has aligned with the center. Since. But why have they not stopped the insecurity?
So does this alignment really work? What benefits does it bring to the people? But it's a deja vu feeling. We've been here before. In the height of the PDP in 2007, they had 31 over 36.
We'll be here when it becomes 36 over 36.
So
when it becomes either 35 over 36 or 36 over 36, we'll come back to talk about it.
This might be the last one.
You think?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I can never put anything past our government.
It's politics. You don't always trust anything.
Alex Otti is ready to...
Alex Otti, he was visited by the chief of staff.
The Labour Party till 2027.
No, he was visited by the chief of they shook hands, and there are rumors that he's going to be the next because the Labour Party is also having some small internal fracas, even though all of that has happened. But
all right, we'll connect to Umar Kira, but I need to take one comment from YouTube. Lenin Equerry says, Nigeria is such a joke. APC 31 over 36, one would think they were referring to the number of states with steady electricity. Even Iran, with all the airstrikes, still have electricity. This country, it touched me.
It pains.
It touched me.
It is bitter.
The thing is, 31 over 36, is there light? Is there security? Is there fuel?
So what's the quality of life of the citizens?
Chuka Ochiama said one-party system under an acclaimed Democrat, Tinubu. So sad, the very way Wike and his backers in power have eliminated the PDP. How I wish votes count and matters in Nigeria.
But let's also mention that while we're talking about this...